Double over double rear corner bunks where the bottom bunk flips up for storage, big super slide, and dual entrance with one directly into the bathroom. Folks, this family RV right here is the 2021 Keystone Springdale 282BH. All right, folks, let's dive right into the kitchen. So one of the things I always like about an RV is when they have a nice kitchen, one with decent countertop space. Now, for me personally, I wish they would have shifted some things over a little bit, right? Like the oven, I would have preferred if it was over here just a little bit closer. The main reason being is I want my main countertop prep space to be here, and for this one, I feel like it's a little bit over to this side. But I do understand why they did it, because right over there is your dedicated electrical outlet, so I think they kind of intended this to be where your coffee maker goes, and so it does make sense, and you still do get the prep space here in the form of the 3-burner undermount sink. So if I have to give any negatives to the kitchen, that's what it would be, something pretty minor, just general layout. Now, what about the positives? There's definitely a lot. One of them is the countertop itself. That is a thermofoil countertop, so essentially a heat pressed countertop on here, and that does a couple things for you. One, by eliminating the T-mold around the outside, you don't get that popping off, right? Especially on the inside corners like this, a lot of times it would separate, and then you get water down in there, and then your countertop rots out, and that's never a good thing. And because of that, because of the way they actually make this, it allows for an undermount sink, which is not just a more seamless look, but a lot easier to maintain. Because, you know, if you have dirt and stuff, you can just kind of sweep it right into your sink, just like that, right? You don't have that lip from the sink all the way around the edge. I also like what they've done with the sink itself, right? It is a composite sink, but they went with a black instead of a white. So if you've seen some of the older campers, maybe you own one yourself, right? After, 5-6 years, the white composite tends to kind of yellow a little bit, turn a little brown. With the black, hopefully it'll hide that a little bit better. You'll also see the high-rise kind of industrial two-tone style faucet on there. I think they did a great job on that. Again, it just is quite stylish. As we said, 3-burner recessed cooktop with the glass cover for prep space. This just folds up and back like so. So that way you can access those 3 burners. Oven right here underneath. The knobs do light up. You can see the oven. Not a monstrous oven, but it'll do the trick if you just need to do some light baking. Underneath, you'll see not one, but 2 full extension drawers, and that is important because not only do you have one for flatware, but you also have an additional one for either some of your larger utensils like spatulas, knives, things like that, or if you want to put like hot pads in there or kitchen towels, you can do that. And then right over there, it's a pretty narrow space, but I think if you get a smaller trash can, you should be able to fit one underneath the sink, which is personally exactly where I want it. How about you, Aaron? Where do you like your trash can?
Right under the sink is great.
There it is. See? You'll also see another drawer over here. So again, whatever you want to throw in there, whether you want your flatware there or over here, I think for me it makes more sense there, but if you want it here, go for it, folks. It's your RV. You do what you want. Coming around to the other side, we have more storage right down underneath. Another drawer right there as soon as you walk in. An electrical outlet right here. And I think this is important for me because if you don't want your coffee maker over there, if you do want that just to maximize that prep space, you can still kind of put it right here on an angle and plug it in right there. So just something to kind of take note of. And then big additional storage over to the side. The reason I like this for me, again, if you want to put a trash can there, you can. It's a little bit out of the way, but you do have some more space for a little bit larger can. But for me personally, folks, that's where I'm putting my shoes, right? I'm walking in, kicking my shoes off. I'm tossing them right in there, so that way they're not cluttering up this main entryway. Main control panel is right over here on the side. The one thing I do really want to point out, I guess, on the control panel is the water heater. If you notice, you will see both gas and electric for your water heater, and you can turn both of those on at the same time for faster recovery. Running all down the top is your storage and microwave. So you see cabinets up top, nice oil rub bronze pulls, microwave right in the center with a slimline hood. A little bit earlier I talked about having a drawer for knives, but you will see that the Springdale here actually comes with a magnetic block. So if you want to put your knives right up there, you can. And then, of course, you have a couple hooks on here for, again, some of your larger utensils, spoons, spatulas, things of that nature. Then rounding out the kitchen is the 12-volt refrigerator. What's great about a 12 volt? Well, a couple different things. One, it is compressor driven, and so because of that, it's going to cool down much, much faster. Rather than our old traditional gas electric where we have to turn them on the night before to get them cold, this one will cool down in a few hours just like a residential one would because it is compressor driven like a residential refrigerator would be. The only difference is it runs off 12 volt instead of 120. So what does that mean for you? That means that this will run off the coach batteries versus shore power. The big advantage to that is if you have, for example, 2 batteries and some solar, you can run this almost indefinitely, which is a huge deal for those people that like to do some boondocking or camp where you don't have that shore power option. So if that is you, then this right here will be something that you certainly enjoy. You know what else you're going to enjoy? All of that storage. Big pantry in here. I love that. Plenty of space for all of your dry goods, your foods, your cereals, things like that. You know, again, just a large storage space. A lot of manufacturers are starting to put those in, and that one is definitely bigger than some others that I have seen. In the rear corner is the bathroom. As we make our way in, you have your sink top right here, some storage as well as plumbing access underneath, electrical outlet. And this is important, right? Not just for like curling iron and hair dryer and stuff like that, but also for me, I have an electric toothbrush that I take, and it needs to be charged after a few days. Gives me the ability to charge it up there. Mirrored medicine cabinet. This one does just have a plastic back. It's not framed in or wood or anything like that. A little bit simple, but it still does the trick. Then over to the side here is the toilet. Foot flush lever. As far as space, folks, I have plenty of room. Knees, shoulders, I'm good. I don't feel cramped here. If I want to sit here and read War and Peace, I have the space to do it. I'm going to be comfortable, right? My wife might yell at me, but I got the space to do it. Now, question for you, Aaron. I've gotten this before. How do you feel about the door being right here? What are your thoughts? Because I've had some people that are like, well, someone's going to open up the door on me, and I tell them there's a deadbolt. For me, I like the functionality of just being able to come in. You know, if I need to use the bathroom and head back out. What are your thoughts, buddy?
Oh, I love it. You get to clean up after you go outside. You don't have to worry about tracking dirt in. It's great.
Exactly. See? I know he's a smart man. So we can come right in here, and just like he said, right? If you need to wash up, even if you're at the beach, and you want to come in and take a quick shower, right? You can come in, drop your swim trunks, get right in here, shower off, and you're not bringing all that beach sand all the way through the camper. Another thing I do want to point out, folks, I am 6 foot tall, and as you can see, as long as I stay within this skylight space, over to this side, I do have enough room to fully stand up, even all the way up here without the skylight, because you have that barreled ceiling and it's higher in the center of the RV. I can stand up anywhere in here and still be able to shower. Now, I am a little bit broad in the shoulders, and if I turn, I'm definitely getting attacked by the curtain, right? Don't get me wrong, it's not a super deep shower. It'll do the trick, but chances are I'm going to be showering like this. I'm going to be taking the hand wand and moving that where I got to move it, right? Because if I'm a weird guy for whatever reason. Maybe I'm not weird. I don't know. Maybe it's a normal thing. But when the shower curtain is touching me, I just get weirded out. I don't like the feeling. Aaron, what am I weird? Is that a normal thing?
I'd say you're pretty weird.
All right, fair. So right over here in the corner are your double over double bunks. The reason they're called double over double, right? It's a double wide bunk, and you have 2 of them. Great thing about this, when you get a bigger bunk, they also tend to support it more. So as you will see, 300-pound weight capacity. Why is that important? Because that means a lot of adults are able to use these bunks. So, it's not just, or if you have bigger kids, right? I mean, I've seen some 16-year-olds that are like 6'5", and I'm like, holy cow. Now, they may have to curl up a little bit, but they may still be able to sleep on the beds because of the weight, which is fantastic. Another thing I love about these bunks, you will see it has a net as well as USB port. So if you need a place to charge your phone, you can plug it in, charge it, you'll drop it right in the net just like that, and you have a spot for it to sit all night. Also, if it is a rainy day, you can plug those devices in, the phones, the tablets, whatever it may be. Kids can sit back here and do their own thing, so that way you're not going stir crazy as it's raining inside or raining outside, and they're running up and down here trying to do, jumping jacks and expend energy, right? Which I know we want them to do, but maybe after it quits raining. Or throw on a rain jacket, stick them out there, I don't know. Right down underneath, the thing I do like about this, I talked about storage. This folds up. You'll have to remove this cushion. You'll want to take this and put it up top, but this will fold up and lock into place, giving you all of this extra storage. Now, one of the things I wish they would have done, and there are some other manufacturers out there that do this, is put a door in the back, right? So that way it's easy access, it's easy to load and unload. I understand why they didn't, because, you know, they're trying to be a little bit more price point sensitive. But, you know, again, just for me, I think it would have been, it's a lot easier to utilize that space if that is the case, because now I have to bring everything all the way in, load it, take it back out. But I would rather have it lift up than not at all. So I'll take what I can get. Moving over to the super slide dinette right here. You will see currently I have the table drop down. One of the things I do like about this table, I can kind of show you the style here. Let me slide this table out. So if we take a look at the bottom here, you will see that mechanism. The thing I like about this is it's easy to pop up and down, but the other cool thing is I can take this right over to here, and if I so choose, boop, I can set it right there. And now what do I have? I have a coffee table in front of my sofa, right? There's still plenty of room because this is a nice deep slide here. There's still plenty of room where everyone can walk through. But now I have a coffee table. If I want to, you know, throw like a pillow or something on there to throw my feet up, I can do that. If you're weirded out by having feet on the table, I completely understand. But it does still give you a spot where you can set a beverage. And I just like having that option. I can sit here, watch TV, and have that drop down. Now, of course, because this does drop down in that position you saw, that is A, both the travel position, so you don't have to worry about locking anything in, and B, that is a position that will be in the bed, so you can throw the cushions down on top of that. Make that right there a sleeping space. Speaking of sleeping space, got another one right over here. We lift this guy up, you will see this is what they call a jackknife sofa. It does not make a huge bed by any stretch, but it is an option, and the great thing about it is all of the storage you get underneath. Big storage in jackknife, removable armrests, as you can see, which you'll want to do if you do have that as a bed. And then, as I said a minute ago, this is where you will mount the TV. Nice big space for it, so you can have a pretty good sized TV there. Entertainment center right down underneath here. There are HDMI inputs there, so if you have auxiliary equipment. Speakers on both sides. You can also see the fireplace in the center. Cool thing about that, folks, not only does that look great, but it also is a space heater, and it runs off electric. So if you do have shore power, I say electric, runs off 120, not 12 volt. But if you have shore power or generator, you can run that, and that's, you know, especially if you're not paying for electric at the post, that's kind of free heat, right? It's not gonna, not gonna keep things warm if it's 30 degrees outside, but if it's, dropping into like the 50s, something like that, that's a great option to heat up this main space. Come on up into the bedroom with me, Aaron. All right, now, to be quite honest, if I have to really slam something in the bedroom, this right here is what it's going to be. The fact that with the door and everything, I know I kind of have a big butt, but this is a tight space to get through, right? That is a little tough to get to this side. If you're someone that has to get up and pee a lot in the middle of the night, you're going to want that side of the bed. This side over here is going to be a little bit of a struggle for you. But, other than that, I think they set up the bedroom very well. You'll notice you have big nightstands and electrical outlets on both sides. The one side over there, you can see the little handle. That will be for your dirty clothes hamper. You lift that up and you can drop clothes right down into your pass-through. So you just put a laundry basket down in there. On both sides, mirrored wardrobes. You have a spot to hang your clothes, plus not one, but 2 shelves. There aren't many manufacturers out there doing that. Most will give you one. I do like that they give you the second. Another thing I want to point out is that this right up here, this vent is prepped for a second AC, folks. So if you find it's too hot, you're camping in really cool place or really warm places and you want to keep things cool, you can have a second AC installed. And lastly, before we head outside, if you want a TV, you can see exactly where it mounts and the connections for that. Now that we've seen the inside, let's take a look at some of the outside features on the 2021 Keystone Springdale 282BH. Up front, you'll notice as a standard, this one comes with a power tongue jack, so it is a lot easier to connect and disconnect from your tow vehicle. Right behind that are 2 20-pound propane tanks with a cover, and you'll also see rails for your battery. Then right down here is solar prep, and as I mentioned, if you plan on going somewhere, doing a little bit of boondocking where you don't have shore power, I do recommend getting 2 batteries to fit in here, and then you can hook up that solar so that way you can run your fridge. Coming up the front, you have the diamond etch plating on there to help protect that front end from some of the rocks and debris that get thrown up by your tow vehicle. And above that is a smooth aluminum front. Not only does that look nicer, but also it's easier to clean than your normal rib that you have here coming down the side. Speaking of this side, you'll also notice the big pass-through storage. So nice wide door there, right, for some of those wider items. Not super tall, but you do get the width, and that, of course, does run all the way through to the other side. A little bit smaller door over there, and there is a light in case you need to access anything in there at night. You also see power stabilizer jacks. This front control will operate the front two, the back control will operate the rear two. Please, folks, bear in mind that is not a leveling system. You'll want to use blocks with your tires to level the RV out. What these will do is stabilize the RV so when you're moving around inside, it won't rock as badly. You will also see your power awning right up top with an LED light strip on there. That folds out nice and easy, and because the location of that LED light strip, it doesn't matter if the awning is fully retracted like it is right now, partially extended or fully extended, you can still use that LED light. As we talked about inside, there are two entrances. This right here being the main entrance into your kitchen/living area. Nice big grab handle, which is important when you have the larger step system like this. This is the Solid Step by LCI. Aluminum treads on there so they won't rust. Grip tape folds right up into your door when you're done, and you have extensions on your feet, which this should be like that. You'll see foot extensions on there, and again, you can retract or extend those to the proper height, so no matter where you're camping at, your steps will sit nice and flush. Quick pro tip. This is something I normally don't go over in a review, but I just feel like I'm going to do it today. So with these step systems, they're wonderful. They're super sturdy, it's solid, just like the name implies. I can run up and down, can bounce on here. It hardly flexes. One of the things you want to pay attention to when you're setting the height of the feet is the height of this plate right here. Because what will happen is if your feet are down too far, it will sit up like this. And when you go to shut the door, you're going to bust up this bottom corner. You're going to bend that metal. You don't want to do that. So you want to make sure you set this at the right height so that door can shut nice and easily. You also see electric connection right out here, plus a spot to hang your TV and a cable outlet. The cool thing about this is you can take that plate that you can have inside, right? Just take one TV, unhook it, boom. You can use that same TV right here outside, so that way you don't have to have a separate TV. You can just move the one back and forth. Another couple big benefits of this floor plan. Black tank flush, that's a huge thing. Makes it so much easier on the maintenance side. Instead of sticking a hose down your toilet to wash out the black tank, you hook it up right here. But more than that is your outside shower with both hot and cold water access is on the camp side. More often than not, folks, this is on the off camp side, sometimes on the back of the camper. But right here, it makes it super simple. And to Aaron's point when we were talking earlier, if you want to wash up, right, come back from the beach, you can take that shower, you know, the outside shower, you can hose your feet off, walk right into that bathroom, jump in the shower, do whatever you need to do. That does make life nice and easy for you. Or if you just want to do some cooking or something out back, you can use that shower to rinse off dishes, whatever else you want to do. Coming around to the back, square tubular bumper with end caps makes a convenient spot to store a sewer hose, and the spare tire is mounted to it. And as I always say, folks, hopefully you never have to use this, but if you do, this is probably one of the easiest places to access it. You just remove these two nuts, tire slides right off for you. Right up top is backup camera prep. If you want a backup camera, it has the prep for it, meaning it's already pre-wired, so that way it is a much simpler installation, saving you a lot of money on labor. Coming around to the off-camp side, couple last things I want to hit on. One, underneath that bunk, you will see some additional storage here. The other side, of course, folds up and is open, but the rest of that is right here, and that is accessible from the outside. I love having secondary storage. Underneath is your termination with both your black and gray tanks. Right outside here, 50 amp supply. Why? Well, one, we have a fireplace, and there's no switch inside to go between the AC and fireplace. More importantly, this one is prepped for a second AC, and to run two ACs, you will need 50 amp service. Last thing I want to touch on, folks, up front are both of your water connections, your city water fill, as well as the city water connection, as well as your fresh tank fill. And that wraps it up, folks. If you are interested in this wonderful family RV behind me and you would like price and availability, simply click on the link in the description. Thanks again for watching, folks. I'm Ian Baker. Let's go camping.